Hey there, my little grasshoppers. So you've come to me with another question, and this question is about judgment. Okay? Well, you know what to do. Get your dictionaries out, and let's talk about what judgment actually means and how it applies in your life as well as the entire world. There's two ways of defining judgment. Both of these ways are extremely similar to each other, but they have some key differences that I do want you to understand. So the first one is, I have my dictionaries right here, the act of assessing a person, situation, or an event. So that's the first one. So let me explain that here real quick before I get to the next one. So let me see. If you have, say you wake up, okay? And you're trying to, you got your clothes in front of you in your closet, and you're like, I wonder what to wear today. Well, I like the color purple. So I'm going to pick this purple jacket and this black shirt and black pants. And that's what I'm going to wear today. Well, what you have just done is you've actually judged, based on your preferences, what you are going to do. So that's the first form of judgment. So we make these kind of judgments every single day. And the world makes these kind of judgments every single day, regardless of circumstance. It doesn't matter. Everything you do, every decision you make is based on a judgment. And every judgment is based on your personal preference or what is considered right and wrong. Morals, you can also say. So these are very important to understand that regardless of where you are, who you are, and what you are doing, you and everyone else around you, the entire world, makes judgment calls. So in this day and age, let me rewind here real quick. In this day and age, grasshoppers, you are going to find a lot of people say, don't be judgmental to me. And I'll get to that here in a sec. But this is a flawed way of thinking because we must be judgmental. If there is no judgment, then there is a lack of morals. So I'll get to that here in a second because that falls into the second category of judgment that I do want to identify. And it is my favorite version of this definition. Judgment is the ability to make a decision, form an opinion objectively, authoritatively, and wisely. So let's dig into that here for a sec. Like I mentioned with the getting dressed in the morning, let's take this a step further. You're in the kitchen and, actually, better yet, there is an ice cream parlor and you have the option between chocolate and vanilla. Based on your personal preference, you may choose either chocolate or vanilla. What you have done is you have judged against the one you did not pick. By no fault of the opposite one. My favorite is vanilla. So I'm going to choose vanilla over chocolate most of the time. This has nothing to do with the fact that chocolate is bad. No, I like chocolate too. I just prefer vanilla. So I've made a judgment against chocolate because I prefer vanilla. Does that make it bad? But a lot of people will say, don't be judgmental. Well, sorry, I was judgmental against the chocolate because I prefer vanilla. That doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make the chocolate a bad person. However, this does make a point in saying that I choose based on a certain opinion, be it objective or subjective, but I must make a decision. A decision comes from a judgment call. So you cannot have a decision without judgment before it. There has to be. I mean, when you go into a courtroom, I hope kiddos, you never ever end up in a courtroom. I'd be very disappointed if you did. But do you end up in a courtroom? What is the person who's sitting before you deciding whether or not you go to jail? Well, we call them a judge. Why? Because they make the final decision on what your act has caused to society. So, this goes back to what I was talking about when you will encounter in this day and age, at the time of making this video, the world right now is completely crazy when it comes to judgment. People will walk around and act like that they cannot be judged. And this is 100% incorrect because they themselves make judgments every single day, every second of the day. So to act like they cannot do this is maddening. And grasshoppers, I do not want you to fall into this trap. There will be people in your life who say that you are infallible. People can't judge you for what you do. And I'm going to say here, as your father, right here, right now, yes, yes, they can. Absolutely. They have every right to judge you just as much as you have every right to judge them. It is important to know and understand that the judgments that you make towards a person must be objective. That is a significant difference between subjective. Subjective could be based on personal opinion that has nothing to do with reality, while a objective opinion is based on reality. It must be based on reality. I've talked about objectivity before in another video. I think it was about my video about beauty. So go check that out, kiddos, if you want to check that out. But the point of the matter is, everyone can be judged. And judgment is very, very, very good for society. And I stress that extremely important for you grasshoppers, because I do not want you to fall into this trap. When I say that because, think about it. If we think about it here real quick, back to that courtroom. If there was a criminal standing before the judge, and the judge says, all right, you stole X amount of dollars from the bank, you're going to jail. And the thief says, you can't judge me, that's judgmental. Does that sound a little ridiculous? Sounds absolutely ridiculous. You committed a wrongdoing that was harmful to society. You should be punished for it. You should be judged for it. So when a person does something that is incorrect, wrong, and therefore harmful to either themselves or to the people around them, they must be judged. You will be judged on it, whether it be the present or a past action. You must be judged on it, and you will be, because that is how the world works. If there is no judgment, there is no morals, because judgment must be based on something. You do not come to a decision based on nothing. You have to come to a decision based on something. It can be subjective, but the vast majority of the time, good judgment is based on objectivity and authority, and like that definition says, is based on objectivity. The best kind of judgment is based on objectivity. Something that's based on realistic facts. So kiddos, I make this video because you will face this a lot in the world. And I hope that by the time that you are watching this video, that the world has improved. Though, based on how things are going on right now, I am judging that is not too likely. So, open your eyes and be aware. I also made a video about discernment, so go watch that as well. That will help you with making a good judgment on things. I hope that in the future, you make good judgment calls. You make good decisions based on morals and based on objectivity. You must, in order to have a good and successful life. But regardless of what choices you make, I will always love you. And I'll see you soon.